Hey Jacob, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing great. Just dancing along. What about you?
I think you might have just beat me in our little silent dance competition, but
Hey, you just gotta have that music in the head. You just gotta get it there and go with it.
I couldn't really get the beat down. Mine wasn't keeping a consistent beat.
No, I feel it. I feel it. You gotta train.
Yeah, it's rough. It's hard.
Oh.
Not an underground silent dancer, so unlike you.
You know, it's all those times that I go home and do nothing. I gotta do something with my life, you know? That's what I do.
That's good. Glad you got something. How's life been?
Oh, it's going great so far, actually. School's over. Start work tomorrow. Going
Yeah,
well. How about you?
that's exciting. Pretty good. It's Let's see. First, I was up late last night. I was at work till like midnight, and then I woke up this morning and had a massive headache because I was so sleep deprived. But other than that, though, things were actually really good. Like, if that's the worst thing that's happened in my life, I can't complain.
Only sleep deprived. If that's the worst thing, it's perfect.
Yeah,
You're the only one that says that.
I mean, one
Oh,
day I'm gonna have kids, and I'll just be super sleep deprived then. So just preparing.
that's true. That's true. Well, I'm glad you're preparing for the future. We'll say that.
Yeah, that's all it was practice.
See, so all those girls that are watching right now, they know that you're prime real estate, right?
Nah, they look at you. They're all over you. Put it in the
uh,
comments.
yeah, sure. They saw my dance moves. They're like, nope, shut that door.
Well, I guess we'll find out when quarantine's done. Who's got the most ladies?
I like it. I like this little competition.
Yep, it'll be good. But yeah, no, life's been good, and grateful that I can still keep doing these with you. Keep calling you and keep learning things about depression.
Oh yeah, no, it's been great. I actually really enjoyed, even though it's not an article, we decided to go with a little different route today. But the information on this website, the CDC website, is really good on how to cope with stress and cope with things that are going on in the world. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. And for those of you at home watching this, of course, we've always linked this below in the description. But um, also, if you're just listening to it, we're talking about a website page called Stress and Coping, produced by the CDC, specifically in regards to everything that's going on right now with coronavirus. But I think it's definitely good knowledge to also have for any of those that may be coming across this later when everything with coronavirus is over. So,
Yeah, no, the information that they have is really helpful in any situation. So just kind of like kick us off.
yeah.
At the second part where it says everyone reacts differently with stressful situations, correct? And
Hmm.
then the article will go through four different points on who will respond more strongly to certain situations. I'm not going to go through the 4 points, but basically, what I got out of it is everyone responds differently to a stressful situation. Just because one person doesn't react strongly in this situation, maybe they act strongly in this situation, right? And we never know what is going on in somebody's life. And so just seeing those 4 points on who will react strongly in this situation of COVID-19 just kind of brought to my realization that, hey, these four groups of people may be stressed out with this, but maybe the fifth group, let's say that there's a fifth group, is stressful about something else that's not directly related to COVID 19, but
Hmm.
because of just life in general, they're stressed out as well. And so we should always be open to be willing to talk, be willing to help someone out because we don't know what other people are going through.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, I really like this because it kind of gives a good start for anybody in any situation to know how to help others out or help themselves out. Um, for those who aren't directly looking at the article or website page, it breaks it down into talking about groups of elderly people, younger people, parents, children, medical professionals, um, people as a community, people who are just coming out of quarantine, those who may be in quarantine. I mean, it breaks it down into a lot of different groups that really covers a lot of people, which I think was really cool. Um, but they give just a few bullet points in each group, whatever group you are. Like, for example, we'll take if you have loved ones that need support, they give a few bullet points of saying, hey, take time to reach out through maybe telephone or email or a video chat of some sort, or also take some time to do what you can to help your loved ones feel safe. And then they go through various bullet points that you can do to help those, especially if they're in a situation where they can't currently leave the house. So I really like how it breaks that down. And one specific, because there are so many bullet points, I would suggest that people just read this because we are not going to cover all of the points by any means. But one specific one that I wanted to talk about because I saw it this week, it was specifically talking about parents talking to children. And they say, oh, I just lost it. Oh, right here. They say, um, it's best to be reassuring to those around them, especially children, to help them be better prepared. And ways to support your child is to talk with your child or teen about what's going on. And I mean, I don't have any kids, you know, but I am currently a mentor for a high school student right now, and she's really awesome. It's always fun when we get to spend time with her because I have there's one other college student that helps mentor this high school student with me, and so we get to do different activities together and talk with her occasionally. And this last week we got to video chat for a little bit, and it was a good video chat. At first we just kind of talked about like just random things, catching up, and then I felt like I needed to ask her the question of how she was doing with everything going on with coronavirus and just be very direct about it. And so there's for a slight second I was like, oh well, maybe not, let's kind of beat around that. Like, I'm still a college student, she's a high school student, like I want to be that cool college student. But I was like, no, I'll ask. And I'm super glad I did because it gave her an opportunity to open up and talk to me about just some of the feelings that she'd been having that I don't know if she'd been able to share them with her family and her sisters, but I do know that she doesn't have a lot of other social interactions outside of her direct family she's living with and with me and the other college student that mentor her. And so I felt really grateful in the end that I did directly ask her, and I was willing to talk about what was going on because it was a bonding moment for sure. And I think that can be seen not just in a parent and child relationship or in like a mentor relationship, but I think it's good for all of us to just show a little bit of empathy and show that we care.
Yeah, no, I agree. And given more on the, I'm not a parent as well. Still a child in my.
What? I thought you
I'm
had two
definitely.
kids.
Oh yeah, those little two boys that run around in the background, they're definitely not mine.
Oh, I didn't know those were your brothers. My bad. No, just kidding.
No, but like just looking at the way my parents handle this situation, they're pretty open with it. My dad is definitely the know-it-all type of
Uh-huh.
person, right? And so he'll come home from work and be like, "Oh man, this happened. Oh man, this happened." And it's interesting because it's nice for me because I like to know, but I don't
Uh-huh.
usually actively search for that information. So it's helpful to me because my dad is more active in searching for that information and will then tell the family. But then I've seen just the way that it's helped us as a family be able to be closer together because we understand what's going on out in the world. It can help us better cope with what's going on with that. And so I look at my own family. My dad's very direct in it. My dad is okay with just talking and being willing to converse, and I greatly look up to that. And I kind of hope that I can be that way to other people. But definitely just be open about it, be willing to talk, and it helps everything.
Yeah, definitely. But it's definitely also not easy. We can understand that. I know, Jacob, you and I were talking not too long ago about I've noticed since quarantines happened that I am absolutely awful at reaching out to people like I used to and like I should. I got a lot of friends, a lot of people that I really truly care about, but I definitely don't make near as many phone calls or send out near as many texts as I used to, because I'm getting comfortable. And so we know different things. For me, it's because I'm getting too comfortable and being like, oh no, they're fine, that I'm not reaching out and I'm not talking directly to as many people. But I understand too that other people may have other fears. Maybe it's a little social anxiety, or maybe they are just you are a little overstressed with something else that's going on, maybe directly related to coronavirus, or maybe directly related to something else. But I understand it's not easy, but you can do it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And it's definitely worth it.
Yeah. And I know this wasn't something that we wanted to talk about, but just talking about this real quick helped me remember things what's going on in my life. One of the bullet points is support your loved ones, right?
Yeah.
And so usually we think, okay, our loved ones is our family, sometimes our close friends, but other times it's even those friends that we don't really think about, um, that don't come to our mind right away. But anyways, I have a friend who she will write letters to me every once in a while, just kind of talking about what's going on in her life. And even though I don't respond to her because I'm not much of that type of person, I'll usually call her up or I'll email her or text her or something and say thank you. But it's really helped me to, get to know her more. It's helped her to get to know me more. And it's just one of the ways that you can do it. In the article, they give a couple different ways of talking to people, either by telephone, email, letters, text message, and onward. But it's even though I agree with you, Todd, my social interaction with other people has gone downhill. The little social interaction that I have had has been really nice and helped me to be able to cope with what's going on. Be able to be happy for other people and be happy for the future.
Yeah. No, I think it's good. Um, I don't know with this article that I have much else to discuss, but did you have anything else you specifically hope to cover, Jacob?
No, I would just highly recommend that those who watch this read this little article. It's pretty short. It took me probably 10-15 minutes to read all of it.
Yeah.
But like we were saying before, it goes through the different sections of like who you are and what might be most beneficial for you. Even for me, the very last thing is for responders. I found that interesting to just read because technically I am kind of a responder in certain ways because I
Uh-huh.
am an EMR. Even though I'm not an active EMR, I am an EMR and I could do that. Um, and it's interesting just to kind of read it and apply that to my life on, yeah, if I were to do this, I would have to use these methods.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean that I don't use them, but I could use them if I were in that situation.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of things that stress us out, and there's a lot of groups of people out there. So stress is going to show itself in a lot of different ways. And when you're just depressed, stress is just that much more of a complication. And so please, if you got time, just check the article out, because there are some good tips, no matter who you are, on how you can cope with stress. So definitely recommend. But with that, though, I think we kind of have a decent segue into our good news for the week. I know this week we want at least one thing we're going to talk about is birds that help you that help rhinos out. Um, there's an article on Good News Network, and the title of the article is "These birds have been found to warn rhinos of poaching, and it could help protect the species." Not really the most catchy article name, but reading through it was interesting to see how there's this bird called the Escari wakifaru. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but but that's what the bird's called, and apparently um, it can notice when or it notices when poachers are getting close sooner than rhinos can. Um, and because of this, they'll make hissing alarm calls, and when this danger is approaching, and rhinos have learned to recognize that that's what they're this noise that they're making is basically an alarm, and it's allowed many rhinos to avoid danger, specifically in this case some poaching, but has allowed them to avoid that danger. And I just think that's really cool, you know. I think the CDC and other groups out there are trying to, in a way, be our birds, or be birds making noises and alarms to protect us rhinos. Or, you know, I know that's kind of metaphorically speaking, but I think that we can also do the same thing. We can find ways to recognize dangers, whatever that may be. Maybe it's mental and emotional dangers for each other. Maybe it's physical dangers. But whatever it is, we can make that noise and we can help somebody out.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. It's a great analogy because we definitely need to be on the lookout for those that we love, for those that are around us. And so, because we can help them, they can usually help us. I guarantee that the rhino does something for the bird, and it's a mutual relationship that they work together. So, that's really cool.
Yeah. Kind of reminded me this week, something that I noticed was my dad. I don't get on Facebook or social media too often, just because I tend to waste a lot of time when I do. But recently I got on and my dad had posted something. He was talking about how we can become numb to uh, specifically important teachings that we learn in our life, if we are exposed to them too much. And they're still very important teachings, but because we become numb to them, we may kind of remove ourselves away from it. But he used the analogy of an experience in his life. He's owned at a convenience store at one point, and there was a customer who always came in and paid with $2 bills. And at first when he saw that, he's like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, you know, I'm gonna like keep a couple $2 bills." So he'd switch out the $2 bills with a few ones that he had, and like one or $10 bills, you know, like whatever the equivalent was. He'd switch it out, and so he had some $2 bills, and he's like, "Wow, this is cool. Like, look, it's a $2 bill." Well, the customer kept coming for a very, very long time, and pretty soon the kind of just wore off. And my dad's like, I don't really need to keep these $2 bills. And now he doesn't have a single $2 bill because he used the $2 bills, and he no longer owns the convenience store. So he doesn't have that customer coming in paying with $2 bills, so he doesn't see him. And of course, he could like go to the bank and get some, but it was just kind of his analogy is saying, hey, sometimes we get a little too used to things, and we need to take a step back and just appreciate what's going on and remember the important and good teachings that we've had and apply them to our lives. And that to me was a warning call to me saying, hey, maybe I'm letting myself get a little too lax and getting a little too numbed to what's going on, and I need to remember some principles that I need to be applying in my life so I can be a better human being and so I can better handle issues.
I really like that analogy. That's interesting because I never really thought about it. I've been told, that repetition can kind of numb certain situations. But it's interesting to have it in that analogy because it's true. When we become accustomed to something, we hear it over and over and over again, it kind of just falls to the wayside. But it's an important lesson because it's it's kind of like the golden rule, you know. If you don't live by the golden rule, where's your foundation? You know, where do you hold yourself up at? And so that's really cool that we should be, even though we should continually repeat these principles and continually learn them, but we should also remember that we need to keep them active in our life and not just let them fall by the wayside.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. So I was glad I was able to kind of see the importance of that this week. You know, it's important to change some things up, but also listen to those warning voices and
Yeah.
somehow be a warning voice in one way or another to those around us, because that's how good things happen in life. But it's been good talking with you, Jacob.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we could cover a little bit about coping with stress that the CDC's talked about, and hopefully people kind of feel like there are still some good things happening in the world. I've noticed there's more people out on the streets and stuff slowly. Like there's a few more cars on the road every day I drive to work, and sometimes it's annoying, but I'm saying, hey, things are starting to return to normal, so it's okay. Slowly but surely.
Yeah, no, things are definitely getting back to normal. Not quite the way that they were, but maybe that's a good thing. As long as we can learn from the experience, I feel like we'll be in a better situation.
Definitely. It's been good talking with you, Jacob, though, and I hope you have a good week.
Yeah, you too.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.